Hi everybody. For today's evolution lesson, we are going to create these natural selection scenarios that demonstrate one of the three types of natural selection patterns. That's directional selection, disruptive selection, and stabilizing selection. So you guys are going to be doing a little creative thinking, a little bit of creative writing here in developing these imaginary scenarios. All right. As you develop these scenarios, there's certain things I need you to take into consideration here. A couple questions I need answered. So you need to think about what students are being selected against and why are they being selected against. Remember, natural selection only acts on genetic traits, right? So there's certain traits that individuals have that allow them to survive and reproduce better than other individuals. Right? I need you to think about what those genetic traits are, and those are the traits that you are going to talk about in your natural selection scenarios. Right. I also need you to think about how future generations of people or future generations of students will be affected by your scenario. Right? In future generations, will people be, shorter? Will they be stronger? Will they be smarter? Will they have curlier hair? It all depends on the scenario that you come up with. And then finally, I need you to identify the type of natural selection pattern that is shown in your scenario. Is it directional selection, stabilizing selection, or disruptive selection? So before we go any further, let me give you my roller coaster example. So this is an example of something similar that I'm looking for. So to celebrate the end of quarantine, Mr. Kruger decides to take his class to the amusement park. This park has a brand new roller coaster. Mr. Kruger forces all of his students to ride the coaster regardless of height. So we load onto this roller coaster, and we're getting up to the first loop, and the smallest students go flying out of their seats because they're too small to harness and hit the ground and don't survive. Now, the taller students are so distracted by their smaller classmates flying through the air they do not notice the upcoming tunnel and smash their heads against the top of the tunnel. Only the average height students can survive this roller coaster of doom. So it's kind of a crazy example, but let's see if it meets all the requirements of the assignment. All right. First, what students are being selected against and why. In this scenario, we're selecting against the extremely short and the extremely tall students because they don't fit the requirements of the roller coaster. Right? This is going to be an example of stabilizing selection because the average size students are more likely to survive and reproduce than, the extremely tall, the extremely short. Future generations will be affected by having more average sized people, people that can, ride a roller coaster and survive till the end. So, to submit your assignment in your scenario, I posted a very simple Google form in Classroom. I just need you to fill out the form with your name, type out your scenario, identify which students are being selected against, and identify the type of natural selection your scenario kind of exemplifies. All right. If you want to take it a step further and turn your scenario into a video or an animation, be my guest. I think that'd be very cool. All right, guys. Good luck with today's lesson. Thanks. Bye.